listen up. Y'all, it's the queen of automation, Meghan Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need for complication.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Queen of Automation podcast, where we talk about all things systems, automation, technology, operations, AI, why all of these things are only good when they work. I can't even, I'm your host, Meghan Donnelly. You all know that, but I can't tell you how excited I am for today because Alana Sparrow has been somebody that I have been following forever. There goes my camera again. We are having some technical difficulties, so if this is a hilarious conversation for everybody who's watching on video, you can laugh along with us. For everybody who's listening to the audio part of this podcast, you should go check out the video because it's hilarious. Anyway, so Alana Sparrow is somebody that I have been following along for a very long time on Instagram and LinkedIn, and she is like the brand guru master, right? She takes creative branding, and I mean, it's not even just creative branding. You say creative branding, but you're so much more than that. And her content is so amazing. I want everyone to go check her out. But she works with really big brands and teaches them how to use their brand as the asset to build their business and their brand. And I'm not doing it justice. So Alana, tell everybody where you're calling in from and do a better job of telling everybody exactly what you do, because you will say it way more eloquently than I did, I'm sure.
Sure. So thanks for having me here. And I love that it's a show about tech, or a podcast about tech, and we've had nothing but
technical problems. Yeah.
Technical problems. So that's amazing. And so I'm calling in from Florida. I spend my winters on an island in Florida, and that's amazing. And I have to pinch myself that is my life at this point in time. And that's really incredible. And so what I do is help leaders become irreplaceable. And we do that by leveraging their personal brand through putting strategy behind where it is they want to go, what it is they want to do, and who it is they want to serve. And that can be to grow a business, advance a career, or give voice to a larger cause, or all three of those simultaneously.
I can't even describe how worthy your content is. And I want everyone to go check her out and read her content because it's inspiring. It's inspiring. It's funny. It's engaging. I mean, she's hilarious. So half the time I'm laughing because she makes me smile and laugh because she keeps it real, right? It's just 100% real that's what I love about what you're doing in this space, because so much content out there right now is cookie cutter. You know, it's like this blueprint cookie cutter where everyone's trying to do the same thing, and it's just recycled jargon. It's crap. Sorry. Like I don't have anything nice to say. It's all crap. And you have just blown that box, right? Like it's all different. It's all unique. And I would love for you to walk us through that process, not only for your own brand, because I'm sure this is exactly what you're also doing for your customers and clients. I would love to walk through that process because what you're doing, it's not easy. People think, oh, well, she's probably just a great writer. And you know what? Yes, she is. She's amazing. But it's still not easy. There's a process behind coming up with creative. There's a system behind when you post, how you post, where you post, how often you post. Like all of this stuff is strategically done. And I think if you wouldn't mind peeling back a little bit of the curtain and telling us about it, because obviously you don't want to go 100% down. This is not free advice day. But even if you can just show us a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you know, it's an interesting thing about me is that my background like sort of my foundational background is I have a dual degree in painting and in design. So I grew up in the design and creative world. So there's aspects of the work of my brand coming to life that are easier for me because they're part of my zone of genius and this thing that I've done forever. And so I do have that as a bit of leverage and that advantage. We all have those advantages that we bring to our work, and that happens to be one of mine. But the thing that I think where it works for my brand as well as all of my clients is that is what I help them do, is to get very clear on those things that they bring to the table. And I refer to that as your unique value DNA. And it's comprised of 4 things that I'm not going to give away. But there are these 4 unique things that are uncopyable. Oh, and you're gone.
I'm
There
still
you
here.
are.
I'm just
Okay.
moving my camera. There you go.
Yeah. So the value DNA piece is it's made up of these 4 very distinct areas that I help my clients and myself extract, and that's what we communicate through. That is the what we build, what I call our messaging spine from. So you have your brand, which is rooted in your values, your vision, your mission, and all of that. And that's that kind of core essence of the superpowers that you bring to the table, the $1 million problem that only you can solve. That's all foundational. But what you have to do is get very keen on what is your identity. And this identity is that piece of where you find your story. What are those unique aspects of the thing that you bring to the table? And some of those things can come all the way back from when you were a kid and all of that kind of stuff. But they're the important parts that influence your work. They influence how and why you show up, how and why you do what you do. And those are the parts of the story that we build into. And that
Sorry.
so sorry.
What is happening right now? It is so weird. Like, I'm not even touching anything. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you guys. This is so funny. And everything that she is talking about right now, like, is actually perfect for this conversation because I'm a tech person and it is like going haywire. And here we're talking about consistency and all of this stuff. And it's like, oof.
Yeah, you have a ghost in your wire or something. Something's going on there. It's like really kooky.
Is it a full moon? I thought Halloween was over. Like, do we
Yeah,
believe
the
in
full
any
moon
of that
was
stuff?
like 3 days ago.
Apparently,
Yeah,
it's hanging out in my house. Anyway,
so
sorry,
the identity part is so important because your identity part of your brand, when we establish a brand's identity, if we're talking about a business brand, all that's made up, right? When you look at a business brand, you work with an agency, we create an identity, we create an archetype, which dictates the personality, how you, and then how that informs how you visually show up and all of that. But when you're talking about a personal brand, that shit's not made up. We need it to be you. We need it to be authentically you. You can't borrow it from other people. It's not possible because it's not sustainable. It doesn't feel natural. And that's what I help clients do. And I think that is truly what, if people are resonating with me, that's what it is. And that is not something that you are going to be able to just glean necessarily from just my content.
Absolutely.
Really.
And
Yeah.
what I love about what you just said, and what I would love is to do this comparison because, like, I always just use Amazon because it's one of the largest worldwide brands that everybody knows. So what's super funny though is that the shit that works for like a brand like Amazon is the stuff that's not made up, not the archetype and all the other crap that is made up. The stuff that works and the reason that it is so popular is because you can get something in 2 days for free. It's not made up. That's just the thing they do, right? But all the other, like the orange and the smile and all that other stuff is made up and was done by an agency and was done by someone that oh, orange is going to make you feel good, and this, that, all of that crap. None of that matters. All I want is my stuff in 2 days. I could care less about anything else. And so, what I think, and I glean from when I listen to your content and I listen to what you just said, is the non made up shit is the stuff that matters. It's the stuff people actually give a shit about. It's the stuff that people actually want to hear about.
Right,
And
right.
when you do that, and it takes time, I'm just going to say that it takes time. But when you do it, it's so much more rewarding. It's the only
It
thing
is
that I can think
rewarding.
of.
Yeah, it is what makes it rewarding. But I will say that the 2 days piece of it, that goes to, I mean, that's what they've promised you're going to get. That's a brand promise. And they consistently
Yeah.
deliver on it. And when they don't, they make it right. And so that's a big part of the brand. And that goes back to their core, the core values. And that's why all of those things have to be established. And when you're building and you're putting those things forward, that's why it's very difficult, especially in a personal brand, to borrow things from other people, because can you deliver on that over and over and over and over again? And what are those values of yours that are like, these are my live or die? Like I
Yeah.
will, I put a flag in on these and I don't move on these at all. And those are the things that they're so easy to deliver because they're just you,
Yeah.
And that's what I love to help my clients tap into, because if that's part of it, is when it's easy, it's so much more fun. When it feels like there's friction, it feels like you're forcing, you can do that once or twice, and some people can grind through because they're sadistic, they're sadists at heart. They like to suffer. That's where their zone of genius is in suffering. But the majority are not. The majority of us want to be comfortable.
We want a lifestyle that we love, right? And that I've been focusing on that for the last 2 years now. And you know what? I wish that every single person that we work with came to you first, because most of the time they don't put that work in and they just come to me and they want me to build them things. Well, what the heck am I building for?
Yeah.
You don't even know who you are. You don't even know where you want to go. You don't even know. Me building you automations and workflows and software and systems and all of that stuff, that's not going to help you. That's just going to amplify the crap you already have. And that's
Exactly.
nothing. And I love that you said, I love a lot of things. I love everything about her. Have you figured it out yet? Okay. I love the fact that you're getting people to do the actual like deep introspective work of who they are, right? Because most people don't do that. And why the heck would you want to borrow somebody else's promises or somebody else's, like, I don't even understand why people would want to do that. Like, they think it's an easy button, but it's really not. Because once you go down that road and you've put in place all of this crap that somebody else has built and it doesn't work, now you have to completely rip it all apart, completely burn it down, take it all out, and start over.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to start from the right place first? I just haven't figured
A lot
that
of people
mentality yet.
do. Yeah, a lot of people do. And, I don't really push a lot of the initial work that
Yeah.
we actually do because it terrifies people. So I've gotten smart enough that
Yeah.
I don't market that. That's not part of a big part of my messaging. It's there, but I don't focus on it because I don't want people feeling like, ugh, it's like if you focus on
Yeah.
the homework aspect of school, yeah, of course that's why nobody wants to go to school, right?
Right,
If we focus
exactly.
more on like the ultimate outcome part of it, then that's the stuff that they want to that's the stuff that they want to lean into. But every single one of my clients that has gone through the process that I guide them through, sometimes if it's one-to-one, I'm literally with them through every single stage. If you're in a group container, it's a bit more of a hybrid kind of thing, is that they say it's a cathartic process that they never knew they needed. That so often what happens, especially almost everyone I've worked with has had a job somewhere. I mean, very few
Right.
people are coming to me having always been an entrepreneur. Most of us have had adult lives, careers, not showing up as us, right? We spent hours and hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, and many years not truly showing up in the world as our
Yep.
true archetypes, our true selves. And so when you're talking about trying to put forward your identity, your voice, a lot of people haven't really owned it. They've sat back. And that, I have to tell you, that's the most rewarding part of this job. Yes, when they start making great money and all of that, if that's their goal, not everyone I work with is there to increase cash flow. Lots of people are just there to build authority, that sort of thing. But
Yep.
even inside of that, we have to tap into what is that? Because those are the things that are truly going to make you unique and differentiate you out in the world. And we all have that. That's the beautiful thing. It's like we're not building anything. This is what I say was we are
Yep.
uncovering what's already there, and then we're going to amplify
Yep.
it. That's what we do.
What I love and what I always say, so I always use this analogy. I'll say something like, even identical twins are different. They have different personalities. They may look exactly the same. They're identical, but they're not truly inside. One could have lots of medical problems inside their body, but their brains think differently. They are different people at heart. Every single personal brand is different.
Mhm.
Every single one has its own nuance and should have its own nuance, right?
Yes.
And it's take the time to do the work, people, because it is so important. And you know what? You're going to be uncomfortable. And I would love to get into that with you, because so many people are afraid of being vulnerable. And I don't want to do that, Alana. It makes me uncomfortable. No, rip that Band-Aid off and get uncomfortable, because the funny part about what you just said, not, I guess it's not funny, but the true part about what you just said is the true brand people, the people that are putting in the true brand work and doing all of the work up front about their brand, in the long run, even if their goal wasn't to increase their revenue, they're going to increase their revenue.
Mm-hmm.
It happens naturally, because
Yes.
once you become your true self out into the world and you're talking about yourself, you're talking about your problems, you're talking just about who you are, what you've experienced, just becoming yourself in public, that's when the money actually starts to come from. And it's crazy because people don't, I'm not in it for the money. But guess what? It's going to happen. Whether
Yes.
whether
And
that's your main goal or not.
yeah, well, and I think that most everyone, something will come back to money, right? Because we can have deeper impact if we have more money. Money does kind of rule and run the world as much as,
Right.
some people might want to hold that idealistic idea that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's silly. It matters. You would die within a few weeks if all your money were gone. It would it wouldn't take much time. That's a total exaggeration, but you get my point. And I
Yeah.
do love that you brought up identical twins, because that is their experiences, their unique experiences, because they are not, and even if they are watching something simultaneously, they're still going to walk away with a completely different experience from that same
100%.
shared experience. And that's part of the value DNA makeup that I tap into with my clients, because the experiences that you have and that you bring to the are part of the value that you're offering the world, your clients. And when you understand your value and how it solves $1 million problem for someone else, that is where the money and the returns start to come in, and your ability to be able to communicate that and value it. And every one of my clients goes through, I have a private podcast series. It's called Seen, Heard, and Paid. And it's something that is required. I don't care if you are at 8 figures, you've got, you haven't made $1 ever outside of working for someone else in your life. We're going to start with this podcast because we have to be comfortable showing up in the world, being seen, right? You've got to be comfortable with that visibility. And then you need to get very comfortable being heard, because being seen, you won't have impact just being seen. Then what? I mean, I can be seen just by blowing a bullhorn. Okay, now I've got your attention. But being deeply heard is also it's that next terrifying layer. Because if we're going to say something, have that impact, move, that sort of thing, now we need to be able to justify it. Now, then there's going to comes with the backlash of that visibility of putting your voice forward. So we uncover that. And then there is that relationship to being paid. And being paid does not necessarily always equate to dollars. It's just the return on that investment of showing up. And I want for everyone that I work with to embrace that, because everyone I work with is trying to get to their next level, their next best level. And in order to do that, there's certain energetic preparation that absolutely has to take place, no matter where you are on that ladder. You have to have that sort of energy work and your relationship to that next level. Can you hold it?
And it's crazy because people just assume, at least people who I've had conversations with, they assume that it's going to take the same amount of effort and we talk about energy all the time, and the same amount of energy to go from $0 to $200 as it is to 200 to 5. It is not. No. There are different types of energy and different types of effort that you have to put in. If you're going to multi-six figures, it's going to be one set of tools and actions and an energy level. It's completely different when you're going from 500 to 600,000 up to 7 figures, and then 7 figures to 8 figures. Yes, the foundations are similar, but the actions are completely different. And that's why someone like yourself is so important, because most people don't know what those actions are. They don't understand the different levels. They don't understand why it's different. So that's why we always hit, as entrepreneurs, you always hit that kind of like glass ceiling they talk about. When you hit that level, and then you hit that kind of plateau where you're like, oh, I'm stuck. Like, I'm not losing money, but I'm not making any more money, and I'm not really growing. What do I do now? This is when a coach like Alana is really, really important, because you need somebody to talk to and say, okay, I'm officially stuck. What do I do now? Like, what's the next? How do I get to the next level? And nobody talks about that. At least not a lot. Like, it's not out there that it's a different mindset from this level to this level to this level to this level. It's just different, because there are different needles that need to be moved. There's different levers that you have to pull. And I don't even know, like, I have those conversations with people, but I'm not an expert in that part of it, right? Like, ops I get, tech I get, and I can tell you those levers to push, but the mindset stuff, which is so important, because if your mind's not right, everything that I'm doing is so unimportant. Because if your mind is not in that same energy zone as to where, like, I'm going to pull your tech and your ops, it won't matter. It'll all crumble.
Yes. Well, and it's interesting because most of my business career was in the business brand space. Even our business's history. So working with individuals with their personal brands in the term, as far as like the timeline of our business, we're going into our 3rd year doing that. Now, it was very important for me to really understand that energy work that was required, because I'm working with people, individuals, right? When you work with a team, you're working with a larger business, you don't quite have as much of that. There's also a team collective, and we didn't really work with total startups. Most all of our clients were established, larger brands. So we're not really dealing with a lot of this energy work. And even though I did a lot of that personally for me to be able to grow my own business, it became so obvious that this is fundamental, it's foundational. For people to be able to show up, to start a business, to do that, it has to be incorporated in the work that I do. I will not get the best results unless we do that. Just like I came to realize pretty early on, people coming to me who wanted to establish their personal brand, build something, but they didn't even have an offer. I'm like, well, you don't have an offer. Like, what's your offer? What are we branding here? What is it? Is it just you? So if they have a company, they're saying, okay, I want to, help women. Do what? Like, we need an offer. Like, what are we building messaging around? So that part, in terms of my hybrid group offering, we build offers. Some people come with offers, but that's all part of that. And then the energy works. So it's this entire ecosystem that I have built to help people really wherever they are. And I want to make sure that those holes are all plugged and filled.
Yeah.
And if I get into a situation with any one client that it's beyond and above the scope of like what we can do, we have partners that we come in and help them fill those and help us fill those holes. So it's not like I'm out there expressing to be this expert in every single one of these areas. I have other experts that help me fill that. But
that's the best part about we always talk about finding your inner circle, right? LinkedIn is one of those places where you can find your inner circle of people to do that. You build brand network partners that help your customers, right? Like, you bring in people. You shouldn't be an expert at everything, because if you're an expert at everything, you're an expert at none, right? Like, I know that's a completely cliche niche statement, but it's so true. Like, if you try to be everything to everyone, you're nothing to no one, right? So I think that's amazing. And you find the people who fit your brand and lifestyle that you want to partner with, and that's the best way to grow. This has been so amazing. I don't want to keep you too long. We had all these technical issues. I do want you to kind of tell everybody where the best place to contact you is. We will drop, obviously, your LinkedIn profile, Instagram profile, all that stuff into the show notes so they can click over. But what's the best way for someone to reach out to you, to talk to you, if they just want to talk to you and ask you where they should start, if they're even in the ballpark of being able to, afford working with you or start working with you, because you are one of those people that is approachable. In my opinion, you're very approachable. You're going to talk to anybody. You're going to at least have a conversation with people. And if you can't help them, like you just said, you're going to direct them to somebody who can. And I love that about you. Too many people are so closed with like their list, and they don't do that often enough, in my opinion. In this day and age, you have got to have an inner network of business partners that you can do that, because they then refer to you. So anyway, tell people where they can find you and have conversation with you when they're ready.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's several ways to find me. You can find me on my website, alanasparrow.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me there, drop me a message, or Instagram. Those are the best ways. If you can certainly, my website is filled with lots of information on different ways to work with me. But one thing that is very important to me is that I believe that of being of service to people. And so if I don't feel like I can help you with whatever stage you're at, I will tell you that. I'm not, I think this whole notion of just trying to get people's money at wherever they are, or stuffing them into things that don't work. No, that's just, it's not my approach. But I do have different ways that I work with people at different levels. That's why I have a group offering. I have private, done for you at every level. And so if you want to reach out, start a conversation, I'm on LinkedIn most of the time.
Thank you so much. This has been such an enjoyable, hilarious situation. The conversation was amazing. The tech, not so much. So whatever, take that for what it's worth. And everyone, please go check Alana out, because like I said, her content is just awesome. And even if you're not in the space for, for needing kind of that brand person, her content, like I said, is just funny and inspiring and engaging. So just read it and check it out until you are ready for her and ready to move on to the next step.
Awesome.
Okay, everybody. The tech gods be damned. I'm just gonna say my normal outro, but I don't know if I should because I feel like something might explode. I'm like looking around waiting for something to fall on me. Remember, operations, mindset, energy, technology, AI, all of those things, all of these things are only good when they work, and hopefully we help you make them work just a little bit better. Maybe not today. I'm like seriously thinking something's going to fall on me. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.
Listen up, y'all. It's the queen of automation, Meghan Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need